Welcome to JustWannaQuilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School, where we explore all kinds of things, stories about quilting, tools, field trips, maybe some famous quilters stop by, and, of course, a little bit of copyright thrown in just for fun. I'm Elizabeth Townsend-Guard, your host. I'm a law professor at Tulane University Law School. I also hold 2 fellowships right now, one at the business school and one at the Newcomb Institute at Tulane. And I just want to quilt. So today we talk to a new organization called WeHaveMasks.org. They are entrepreneurial, amazing. They have been able to get 10,000 masks out there, and they are insanely cool. Let's talk to 2 of their founding members.
I'll hop in. I'm Victoria Griggs. I am calling from Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
And I am Becky Blank, and I'm calling from Slidell, Louisiana.
Oh, fabulous. All right, so we also ask everybody what your first memory is of someone sewing or quilting in your life.
Ooh, that's a good one. My first memory is some fabulous dresses that my mother made us. They were jean dresses with lace, white lace around them. My sister and I wore them to Easter one year. It was fabulous. She was a big quilter though. So my actual first quilting memory was, honestly, my mom made this Christmas quilt and just sitting there and her teaching me how to hand quilt with her. That was like the first project we did together. So, yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, Becky?
So my first memory would be my maternal grandmother, Nani. Both my grandmothers sewed, but Nani got my sisters and I sewing at a very young age. We started by hand. She found fabric with the little tiny flowers and told us, our needle needs to go through the center of each flower. And we sewed these little ghosts and then moved up from there. By middle school, she'd show me how to make a simple purse. And every project was just so fun with her whenever we would visit. Also about every August, September, she would call and take requests. She would want to know what we wanted to be for Halloween. And she made our Halloween costumes every year.
So cool. And so what was your favorite one that she made for you?
So my favorite one was Tweety Bird. We don't have a photo of it, but I have like just a flash of a memory. I must have been about 4.
Very cool.
And if she was still around today, she would say that Tweety Bird costume about killed me. She would try to make our costumes, on a budget.
Right.
And she said she made more trips back to the fabric store to get more and more tulle for that costume. It was like almost like a one-piece kind of terry cloth pajama with a big tulle, like yellow tail bustle coming off the back. But I loved it, and I still remember it.
That's awesome.
And then for quilting, my first introduction to quilting was my mother-in-law. She's an amazing quilter, and she, I saw things that she had made, and then we were visiting, and she was like, "Oh, there's a little quilt show. Do you want to come?" And I went. And we took a little class, and I was like, "Oh, I could do this." And I think within a week, I was like, "I'm making a quilt. Don't care if my lines are straight, but I'm going to do it."
Good for you. This is really great, and I love it. All right, so what were you doing? First of all, what were you doing before? So, Victoria, you've been in this from the beginning, I would imagine, because you were in Seattle. In terms of like you were an early adopter of the COVID virus.
Yes, an early adopter of quarantine.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what Seattle was like as we were all kind of starting. You're the first community, one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Louisiana came after you guys, but pretty quickly after, but yeah.
It was pretty quick. Yeah. I can say we started quarantine in February. So about a month before most other places. Yeah. And, we of course are trying to flatten the curve, but It showed up here. I live within about 5 miles of where the first cases in the U.S. were. So we're very close. Wow. It's about a 10-minute drive just across the way. So we were aware of it really quickly, really upfront, and sort of like immediately jumped into, okay, we've got to start social distancing. And so it was no surprise to us that schools shut down and things started happening just because we could see it in our,
all those things,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Which I was already working from home. So also had that benefit, but yeah, so it happened here. We saw it. And I think that most of the community here, my experience has been that everyone saw it and said, okay, we have to do something really quickly. So, we hopped right on. It's a little scary and a little daunting. I was hoping that some of the efforts we put in here would maybe help delay or make it not be quite so bad in other places, because you just hope that you're slowing it down.
You're right.
But so, and then my connection is, to New Orleans, as I was born and raised there. So that's why, yes. So, and my mom is there, and she's one of our sewists. And
nice.
So born and raised in New Orleans. To New Orleans is, I check the news in two places, home and Seattle, where I live.
Right. Right. Okay. So your group, and let's first, I guess, Becky, tell us a little bit about, you're here in Slidell. So,
yes.
So you all started wehavemasks.org. Tell us about why you did it, what it is, how do we understand? Because there's lots of these groups popping up, and you have I have masks, I need masks. And so tell me what's going on with that and why you formed it, and you did it with 5 people, right?
Yes. So it all started about somewhere between March 21st and 22nd. I happened to see just a post in one of the area, Facebook groups. Someone was making masks and they were looking for some fabric or something. And I was like, this is my first introduction of this was an issue.
Yeah.
I'm in Louisiana. We were a lot slower to feel the effects and to come to terms with the severity
compared to Seattle.
Absolutely.
Not the rest of the country though, because we're like first it was Seattle, then Santa Clara, then us, right? And New York is we're kind of like on the New York timeline.
We're in there.
They're a little ahead of us, but it was horrifying.
And I was like, I have full-time job, which is busy as ever, and 2 young children. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to have time to sew. Let me go through my stash, because I have a lot. Most people do. Right. And I posted, I was like, anyone who is sewing masks, I will give you my fabric for free.
Oh, that's so great.
That's a great way. And within minutes, I had comments, and 2 women came and, split it up and took it. And then that same day or that night, I saw Victoria had posted that her mom was making masks and asked if anyone need them, to message her. And I was like, oh, and I kept seeing more posts in this just general group, group in Slidell about masks. And I was like, we need a Facebook group that's like specific for masks to help people out. So that would have been Sunday, the 22nd. I messaged Victoria and I was like, hey, do you want to help me run a group? I don't have time to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And that was Sunday. It took her maybe about a day to get back with me. And she was like, I'm so sorry I didn't get back with you. It's been crazy. My post is blown up, that she posted that her mom was making masks. And I was like, same. Right. My fabric was picked up. I updated my post to say, fabric has been picked up. Right. If anyone needs fabric, find someone that quilts, because they have it. And I kept getting shares and comments, comments. So fast forward 2 days.
2 days.
I imagine.
It all from happened Sunday, so fast, right?
Yeah, it did. So from Sunday to that Tuesday, I connected with Victoria. We are sorority sisters from Tulane. We're both Tulane alum.
Yeah, nice.
And I connected with her. She connected with 2 other people, and they connected with a third. So by that Tuesday, we had we were a legal nonprofit. Bank accounts rolling.
Wow.
We had, I think, masks on order from donations that had come in. our head fundraiser, Ruthie, she said she was in the middle of the night nursing her baby and just was drawn to this and was like, I've got to do something. She said she put a post asking for donations at like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Went back to bed, woke up at 7 in the morning, and there was $1,400 in the account.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
And it's just, we've all come together. It came together so quickly, and each of us with our different skill sets or connections, we haven't come across a hurdle that's really been a hurdle. We're like, oh, hey, we need to figure that out. And someone's like, oh, I know such and such that's the head of, whatever that can help. Or, oh, I've, built websites before, just for fun. And it's, it's crazy. I tell my mom, I feel like the universe has green-lighted us. Just everything seems to be going so well. Everything is happening so fast. It has to happen so fast with this crisis. And it's just been phenomenal. The support has been phenomenal, and we're making it happen.
All right. So take me through the entrepreneurial process with this. People, you've got two tracks. Well, I guess three. You've got, I need masks, I can make masks, and donate. So take me through, if you're a group that needs masks, are you only doing it for what's your region? Anywhere or
Yeah, we spend a lot of time talking about how do we figure this out. But if you need masks, we will not say no to anyone except for resellers. If you're planning on selling it, no, you may not have our masks. Yeah. But beyond that,
have you run into that? Have you run into resellers?
We haven't, but we like to be comprehensive, and we'd like to think about the problems before they happen, so that we can tackle them easily. Yeah. But so we are prioritizing healthcare providers, active duty military personnel, because they are have an immediate need because they are not able to stay home. And then we're doing all tertiary, if you need it for work, if you're an essential worker, and then, lowest priority is just personal use at home, but we're not turning away anyone. So, and we haven't had to so far, thankfully,
really
because
great.
We've had great, the other side of that is if you don't need a mask or you just want to donate some money to help other people or to help healthcare providers, you can, and it's been a really nice balance of people who are willing to give and our ability to get masks into people's hands who really need them.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, and how many masks have you, tell me about your process of making masks, and where's the fabric coming from, and who's making them, and all that?
Well, we have community sewers all over the country. Fabric is a lot of it's been donated. We're starting to purchase fabric. My mother-in-law, who, as I mentioned, is a quilter, I think has enough in her stash to open a fabric store.
A lot of quilters have some stash stacked away.
Yes.
So we're trying to.
Tell me about your process of, so you don't turn people away, but they have to be sort of essential or medical or something like that, or need it. So, and how many have you given away so far?
We're just at about 10,000 right now.
Oh my goodness, that's craziness.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
but that does run the gamut. I do want to say that does run the gamut of we do cloth masks, and we've also sourced surgical masks and N95s. So we've been able to sort of address all the different needs in lots of different areas.
And what do you mean by sourced? Do you mean like a professional industry making them, or these always all handmade?
No, professional industry making, we've been able to buy N95s wholesale and from overseas manufacturers that one of our founders is a wonderful tech and medical research guru. So she has been able to make sure that we're actually getting good N95s and from overseas and
then donating them to places, medical people. Yes. That's really remarkable.
We're also sourcing manufactured cloth masks as well, and that's helped us really get as many masks out as possible. So there is a delay when we order masks, and we have our huge, bucket of volunteers sewing masks. So it's a good mix of, we have homemade masks coming in, being made, and then we have our purchase masks that are manufactured as well.
That's remarkable. And so the purchase manufactured masks, are they here in the U.S.? Are they coming from overseas? Sort of what kind of process?
They're coming from overseas.
They're coming from overseas. And so did you have a background? This is remarkable that you all are doing this as a volunteer nonprofit, which is really, that's not what we've been seeing. A couple of us,
Yeah, a couple of us have experience wholesaling overseas. I used to own a dressmaking company, and so I have worked with overseas manufacturers before, and Ruthie Nguyen and Sophia Ang, both of them have history and knowledge and family in those businesses as well. So we just really came together to try and figure out how we could use all of the resources and knowledge we have or have available to us to tap into every possible source.
So I think that the story that will get lost here, and I think that the story is so incredibly important, is how entrepreneurial you guys are such a story of this, that it isn't just like this kind of, it's that thing of like, oh, my grandmother quilts. Oh, my grandma made some masks. No, these are like entrepreneur, mostly women, but some men too, really sort of seeing a need and doing it in really creative ways. And I think I imagine that's why Haley found you and thought you were so insanely cool, because this is really different in some way, right? Do you feel like you're a group unique in that way of sort of having multiple ways of getting masks and protective gear?
I do, and it's really wonderful. We've had, especially, within the last week, of course, everything's happening so fast. So I feel like just this past week is a common starter for some of our stories, because of our infrastructure and how we have set this up as a company-ish. We're a nonprofit, but as a business, a nonprofit business. We've had people come to us like, wow, y'all are so organized. This is wonderful. We've recently partnered with Milspo Mask Makers, which is the military spouse mask makers. They have large number of military spouses sewing masks and also lots of connections, and they needed the infrastructure. They needed a solution to help pair the I need masks to the I can make masks, and we have it. And it's really been a wonderful partnership. It's brand new, but we are already working hard together.
That's really cool. And you and your you all have connections to the military. You're doing sort of outreach for military anyway to begin with, and so that sort of helped you with that connection. Is that right? That's part of your right? Is that Victoria?
Yeah,
is that
so
you?
3 of the original founders, myself, Jill Campbell, and Sophia Ang, are active duty spouses. So I live in Seattle, but my husband's active duty. Jill and Sophia both are in California and are both active duty. But I do totally agree with you that there's something really unique and special about the entrepreneurial part of this, and also sort of mind-blowing the way that we all live in different places. Like
that doesn't matter anymore.
Been able to collaborate, and yes, it doesn't matter anymore. There are no limits to what you're able to do via a Zoom call, a good Zoom call.
So
go
ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, that was my question, is like, how have you been able to, you said you've used Zoom, but have you been using Google Docs, Google Sheets? How else have you kind of been able to collaborate and kind of organize everything in one cohesive space?
Yeah, we have, we're actually really excited about that. That's part of where I think our strength lies, is in infrastructure, because we all are in different businesses. We come with a lot of different technical skills. So like Becky said, website building. Right now we're using Airtable. I do have to say thank you. They just gave us, as a nonprofit, a grant of Airtable Pro free for a year. So we're really excited and happy about that.
That's great. Airtable's great.
Integrate.
Explain to people what Airtable is in case they don't know.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
It is like a Google spreadsheet on
steroids. Right,
That's
totally.
It's
so
the best
amazing.
way to put it.
Yes.
They're
and if
so cool.
Yeah, and if you're working with other people in other places, it's so great because you could work. It's just, Yeah, I used Airtable.
All work at
it's
the
amazing.
same time.
Yeah,
it's really
pretty remarkable.
collaborative. It's really, everyone can get in there and be working simultaneously, so we
Yeah.
can get a ton done. And that has been a game changer for us, and I think why a lot of people are starting to come to us. Like, we are collaborating with several other groups just to help them funnel things through, because our system is a little bit better at tracking it than just a Facebook group and some messages,
Right.
so we're just working on systems a lot, and that's helped.
That's really interesting. And that really is the game. I mean, I have to say the entrepreneurial game right now is organization systems, using apps and using resources like Airtable. Like, that's the entrepreneurial thing at the moment, right? Like, that's like, I teach entrepreneurship at the university, and it's shifted so much over the last decade. It's just remarkable. And so you examples of that in amazing ways. I want to turn to, before we finish up, tell us a little bit about what's happening with active military. We get these messages of like they need masks. Like, it's kind of freaky. Like, so I think like really, you know what I mean? Like, it's like so tell us about that story.
Aren't there only supposed to be certain colors too? If you're wearing the uniform.
The way that it is working now, there has been an executive order that you need. All DoD property requires wearing a mask, which means not just active duty soldiers, but if you live on a base, the whole base is DoD property. And so if you want to go to the grocery store on post or on base to get your groceries, you have to have a mask on. So that was very sudden, and just makes it difficult because military families have to source these, and then the soldiers themselves, or airmen, or they all have different names depending on your branch, but soldiers have to have them for work environments as well. In the work environment, it's per post gets to decide if there are restrictions on colors. So,
and are they required are they being given masks, or are they required to produce them themselves?
It's still a gray area, but essentially they're supposed to have them. They haven't been issued any yet though. So they're in this time period where they're supposed to have them, but many are on back order. Even the government has tried to, order masks for their soldiers, and they're just on back order. Or it's called a gaiter, which is another piece of clothing that they wear that's like a hood hat, but it can come up over here. So they're using those in a lot of instances, but not everybody gets issued one of those normally. Right. It's considered cold weather gear. So, if you're stationed in Guam, you probably didn't get that. Right. So we're trying to fill that need. And it's a little, even on posts themselves, it's a little confusing. So,
and how is the community? How is the community? Tell me about sort of that space of like, I imagine that there's lots of sewing going on. I would imagine.
Lots of sewing. Yes, lots of sewing. And it's very active, and they're starting to get more and more involved. And I think that what has helped has been the infrastructure, that each individual base was trying to do it on their own. Yeah. And that's just not going to meet the need fast enough. And our whole point in all of this is to fill the gap until manufacturing can catch up.
Got it.
So,
are you helping with that in terms of helping with coordination? Mm-hmm. That's what you guys are doing.
Yeah, helping with coordination. Like last week, one of the things we did, there's a small outpost in remote Alaska called Fort Greely, and they only have about 1,200 people. It's a nuclear safety arsenal. So they don't have a lot of people there, but it's remote. They only have one store where they can buy material, and that's only open a couple hours a day. So they were struggling to even be able to have their spouses make masks to meet the need. But we were able to connect them with a group of sewists in Kansas City that was able to do 500 masks for them in 3 days and ship them immediately. Amazing. So, that story. Connection is what we're trying to help. Like, even if we're not the ones making the masks, our system is such that we can connect you to somebody who can help you.
So if we see people out there, because I get this all the time, someone in Slidell, I don't even remember which group, said, I need 160 masks for a homeless mm-hmm. facility. I was like, there's no way I can make 160.
Right.
Right. But this is a place to go. Is I need masks. I can make masks. You could coordinate who could make them for them. Amazing.
Yes.
And then how is the coordination happening? Like, this seems like a nightmare to me. Like a whole bunch of people coming in. Like seriously, I think I just take to my bed.
I'm very tired.
Yeah.
I think we're all very tired.
Yeah.
We do have volunteers that we've onboarded, thankfully, and we need more. But we have, and Victoria and Robin are handling most of the requests coming in. I need mass form and pairing up. We pair up based on how many masks a certain maker can make in a week and where they're located. Although location's not a big factor, we're supplying prepaid mailing labels to get masks wherever they need to go. It is kind of a nightmare, but we've early on set up these systems, so it's happening. It's not a well-oiled machine because we're going so fast, but it's working.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. We are getting the masks to where they need to go. Where people are being so generous.
Yeah.
They're like, I have 25 masks sitting here. I'll put them in the mail right now. It's just been wonderful.
Amazing. And then are you all donation? This is a big, you're doing a lot of stuff. So how are you funding this? Is it just pure donations, or are there major companies helping you, or sort of how are you doing all this?
Right now it's friends and family donating, some, small corporate donations. I work for Domino Sugar, and they right away gave us $1,000, and they're looking for more. And they're also promoting to help, get the word out. But it's just caring people donating money, and we've raised a good amount of money, thankfully, and it's allowed us. We are 100% donation. Yeah. Our mission is to get masks where they're needed most at no cost to those receiving them or our community mask makers, including shipping, materials, everything. Granted, a lot of mask makers are happily buying their own materials or using their stash and donating that, which we're thankful for. That's our goal. And right now, thankfully, knock on wood, we have some funding to help with that. We need more because this is not going away anytime soon, unfortunately. And that's why we're so thankful that you found us so that we can help get the word out.
Yeah, totally.
And
we'll post this definitely. This is amazing. Well, yeah, I just think it's remarkable. It's so entrepreneurial, and it's so interesting. As we go, I would love to have you back on and sort of keep tabs on you guys. So just sign up when you want to talk to us more. But I would love to. I really think your story is very interesting and very. It is what the 21st century is. I mean, this is taking it to a whole nother level, and it's. I'm really proud of you guys. I think it's so incredible. Really cool. Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah.
oh, thank you.
Haley,
Thank you for
good
having us
find.
on. This is awesome. I loved getting to, when we first got the invitation, I went back and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I started listening to your past podcasts, which were really neat.
Well,
so I loved that.
That's very
Same.
cool. I appreciate that. Well, we are trying to document everything. So you're cool with us posting? You don't need to review?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Awesome.
Oh, no, post.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
my
post
legal.
away.
That's my
Hey.
law professor side. I have to get your permission,
Fair.
oral permission.
Thank you.
I give you permission.
All right,
yes,
fabulous. All right, hold on just a second. So you've been listening to Just Wanna Quilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School, and I'm Elizabeth Townsend Gard. If you like this podcast, keep listening. Also, we have a Facebook group. Come join us. We talk about a lot of things. We also have an Instagram account. And of course, most importantly, I really hope you get a chance to quilt today.